What happens when a police chief's son thinks he's above the law and assaults a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran in broad daylight? This arrogant man walked into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom believing his father's badge would protect him from any consequences. But when Judge Caprio made his father choose between his son and justice, what happened next became the most talked about moment in Providence courtroom history. The defendant stood there smirking as he told Judge Caprio, "My dad runs this town. You can't touch me, old man." The entire courtroom fell silent. But what nobody knew was that Police Chief Thomas Cole was sitting in the back of that courtroom, watching his son destroy everything he'd spent 35 years building. And the decision he was about to make would break hearts, restore faith in justice, and prove that some fathers love their principles more than protecting their children's mistakes. Before we dive into this incredible story, less than 5% of you watching are actually subscribed. If you believe in real justice, in honoring our veterans, and in holding the powerful accountable, hit that subscribe button right now. This story is going to spread everywhere, and you don't want to miss what happens next. It's a cold November morning in Providence Municipal Court, and Judge Frank Caprio is preparing for what seems like a routine assault case. At 76 years old, Judge Caprio has seen thousands of cases, but something about this one feels different. The victim is a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran named Robert Martinez. The defendant is 32-year-old Derek Cole, son of Providence Police Chief Thomas Cole. The case file tells a disturbing story. 3 days ago, Robert Martinez was walking his dog in Roger Williams Park when Derek Cole, driving his BMW at excessive speed, nearly hit him. When Martinez raised his hand to signal Derek to slow down, Derek stopped his car, got out, and confronted the elderly veteran. According to 3 separate witnesses, Derek shoved Martinez to the ground, causing him to hit his head on the pavement. When bystanders tried to intervene, Derek allegedly said, "Do you know who I am? My father is the police chief. Call the cops, I dare you." Then he drove away, leaving the 70-year-old veteran bleeding on the ground. Martinez suffered a concussion, 3 broken ribs, and a fractured wrist. He spent 2 nights in Rhode Island Hospital. The incident was captured on a nearby security camera, and when the footage went viral on local news, the entire city of Providence demanded justice. The courtroom is packed this morning. footage the day after the incident. I saw what my son did to Mr. Martinez. I've read the hospital reports. I know exactly what happened. And I'm here today not as Police Chief Cole, but as Thomas Cole, a father who failed to teach his son the most important lessons: respect, humility, and accountability. The chief's voice cracks slightly. I thought I taught him right from wrong. I thought I showed him what it means to serve others, to protect the vulnerable, to treat everyone with dignity, regardless of their station in life. But somewhere along the way, I failed. And that failure, he gestures toward his son. That failure is standing right here. Derek's face crumbles. For the first time, tears well up in his eyes. Dad, please. Chief Cole turns to his son, and what he says next will be remembered in Providence legal history forever. Derek, I love you. You're my son, and that will never change. But love doesn't mean protecting you from the consequences of your actions. Love means holding you accountable so you can become the man you're supposed to be. He looks back at Judge Caprio. Your Honor, I'm here to tell you in this court that whatever sentence you deem appropriate, you have my full support. My son assaulted a decorated veteran. He showed no remorse. He disrespected this court, and he disrespected everything I've spent my life standing for. He deserves to face the full weight of the law, and I will not interfere. In fact, if I could, I would ask you to be even more severe than you normally would be, because he needs to learn this lesson now before he hurts someone else. The courtroom erupts and whispers. This is unprecedented. A police chief in open court asking a judge to throw the book at his own son. Derek is openly crying now. Dad, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Chief Cole's voice becomes firm. Derek, do you know what I did yesterday? I visited Mr. Martinez in his home. I apologized to him on your behalf, even though I know that doesn't undo what you did. I looked him in the eye and told him that my son's actions don't represent the values of this police department or this family. And do you know what he said to me? Derek shakes his head, tears streaming down his face. He said, Chief, your son needs help, not protection, help. And he's right. You don't need me to bail you out. You need to face what you've done and change. Judge Caprio has been listening to all of this, with deep emotion visible on his face. Now he speaks, and his voice carries the wisdom of 3 decades on the bench. Chief Cole, Judge Caprio says, I want to thank you for your courage today. What you've done standing here and putting justice above your natural instinct to protect your child. That takes more strength than most people will ever understand. He looks at Derek. Mr. Cole, do you understand what just happened here? Your father, a man who could have used his influence to make this go away, instead chose to uphold the law. He chose to honor Mr. Martinez. He chose to honor the badge he's worn for 35 years. That is what integrity looks like. Derek can barely speak through his tears. Your Honor, I'm so sorry. I was wrong about everything. Judge Caprio nods. That's the first honest thing you've said since you walked into this courtroom, but sorry isn't enough, Mr. Cole. Actions have consequences. And guys, what Judge Caprio says next proves why he's beloved by millions around the world. He doesn't just punish, he transforms. He doesn't just enforce the law, he changes hearts. Subscribe right now if you believe in this kind of justice, because what comes next is a masterclass in accountability, redemption, and second chances. Derek Michael Cole, Judge Caprio announces, his voice formal now. I find you guilty of assault and battery on an elderly person. This is a serious crime made more serious by your complete lack of remorse when you first appeared before me. He pauses, letting the weight sink in. Here is your sentence. You will serve 90 days in the Providence County Correctional Facility. You will complete 200 hours of community service, specifically working with elderly veterans at the VA hospital. You will attend anger management counseling for 1 year, and you will write a formal letter of apology to Mr. Martinez to be read in this courtroom, followed by a face-to-face meeting where you will apologize to him personally. Derek nods, accepting each part of the sentence. Yes, Your Honor, but I'm not finished, Judge Caprio continues. You will also create a video apology that will be posted on the Providence Police Department's social media accounts, where you will explain what you did, why it was wrong, and what you're doing to make amends. Your father has agreed to this because sunshine is the best disinfectant for arrogance. Furthermore, Judge Caprio says after you complete your sentence, you will speak to the Providence Police Academy recruits about privilege, accountability, and what happens when you believe you're above the law. Your father will arrange this. You will share your story not to humiliate you, but to prevent other young people from making the same mistakes. The sentence is severe, but purposeful. Every element designed not just to punish, but to transform. Chief Cole speaks up. Your Honor, I want to add something if I may. Derek will also be moving out of my house. He's 32 years old. He's been living under my roof, under my protection, under my name. That ends today. He needs to learn to stand on his own, support himself, and understand that privilege is earned, not inherited. Derek looks at his father with devastation. Dad, it's time. Son, the chief says, his voice breaking. It's time for you to grow up. Judge Caprio turns to Robert Martinez. Mr. Martinez, do you have anything you'd like to say? The 70-year-old veteran stands slowly, supported by his good arm. Your Honor, I don't want revenge. I just want this young man to understand that every person he meets deserves respect, age, rank, position, none of that matters. We're all human beings trying to live our lives with dignity. If he learns that lesson, then this whole experience will have been worth it. The grace in those words silences the entire courtroom. Here is a man who was assaulted, hospitalized, and disrespected, offering forgiveness and wisdom instead of anger. Judge Caprio addresses Derek one final time. Mr. Cole, you heard Mr. Martinez. A man you assaulted is showing you more grace than you deserve. I suggest you spend your time in custody thinking about that, thinking about the kind of man you want to be, thinking about whether you want to continue being the person who walked into this courtroom today, or if you want to become someone your father can be proud of. Court is adjourned. The gavel comes down. As officers approach to take Derek into custody, Chief Cole walks over to his son. They stand face to face for a long moment. Then the chief does something that breaks everyone's heart. He hugs his son tightly. I love you, the chief whispers loud enough for nearby people to hear. But I love you enough to let you face this. You'll get through it, and when you do, you'll be better. You'll be the man I know you can be. Derek sobs into his father's shoulder. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. I know, son. Now prove it. The officers lead Derek away. Chief Cole stands there watching his son disappear through the courtroom doors, tears streaming down his face. This is what real love looks like. Not protection from consequences, but support through them. Judge Caprio approaches Chief Cole and extends his hand. The two men shake, a moment of mutual respect between two men who've dedicated their lives to service. You did the right thing, Judge Caprio says quietly. Chief Cole nods. Doesn't make it hurt any less. No, the judge agrees, but it makes it worth it. Before the courtroom empties, Judge Caprio makes one more announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, what you witnessed here today is not just about one case, it's about the choice we all face when someone we love does wrong. Do we enable them, protect them, make excuses for them, or do we love them enough to hold them accountable? He looks around the courtroom. Chief Cole could have used his influence to make this go away. Instead, he chose justice. He chose Mr. Martinez. He chose the values he spent his life upholding. That is courage. That is integrity. That is what real leadership looks like. The courtroom erupts in applause. People are crying. Veterans are saluting Chief Cole. Robert Martinez walks over to the chief and extends his good hand. Chief Martinez says, "Your son is lucky to have a father like you." The chief shakes his hand, overcome with emotion. Mr. Martinez, I'm sorry for what he did to you. He'll learn, Martinez says. And when he does, he'll make you proud. I can see it already. 6 months later, Derek Cole walked out of the Providence County Correctional Facility. A different man. He had lost weight, gained humility, and found purpose. His 200 hours at the VA hospital had turned into volunteer work that continued long after his sentence was complete. He apologized to Robert Martinez in a meeting that both men described as healing. Martinez became a mentor to Derek, teaching him about service, sacrifice, and the true meaning of strength. Derek's video apology went viral, viewed over 3 million times. Young people across the country saw what accountability looks like. They saw what happens when privilege meets justice. They saw what real transformation requires. Chief Cole attended every one of Derek's anger management sessions, not because he had to, but because he wanted to support his son's genuine change. Their relationship, broken by that day in court, slowly rebuilt on a foundation of honesty and mutual respect. And Derek Cole, the arrogant man who once said, "My dad runs this town," now works as an advocate for veteran services, using his story to teach others about privilege, accountability, and redemption. Judge Frank Caprio's decision that day didn't just deliver justice. It saved a life, healed a family, and proved that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to protect someone from the consequences they need to face. If this story moved you, if you believe in this kind of justice, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video if you honor our veterans and respect the courage it takes to choose justice over comfort. Subscribe for more incredible stories that prove compassion and accountability can coexist. And remember Judge Caprio's words, real love isn't protecting people from consequences, it's supporting them through the consequences they need to become better. That's the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio. That's the courage of Chief Thomas Cole. And that's the grace of Robert Martinez. Justice served, lessons learned. Comment,